Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Corsair, and what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PvE and PvP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So without further ado, I give you the class Corsair. Here we go. And welcome to the skills slide. If you are new to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left is all of her skills, on the right is all of the specials that go with those skills, and then the column charges is how many times you can use the skill, and then the hits is how many times the skill will hit a creature or opponent. The damage-PVE column is the highest percentage damage your skill will do against a creature in the world. The damage-PvP is the highest percentage damage that your skill will do against another player's character. And of course, the passive at the bottom. So what I like to do is just cover a few basic things, and that is the stuff in red, like forward guard, super armor. If you look at the bottom left corner, those are things that aren't applied in Arena, but they are applied everywhere else in the game, just so that you are aware. If you're a person who likes PvP, that would probably pique your interest right off the bat. The other thing is, if you look at the very first skill, Ferocious Wave, and the one that says Saranaka Mastery, the max 3 attack and max 2 attack in green, what that means is if you are using the skill, you have the option to tap on it to use it once, or you can tap and hold and you will see that the attack will do 2 attacks, or like Saranaka Mastery, 3 attacks. So tap and hold, 1, 2, 3, or just tap for 1. That's how that works. We'll go over the passive on the PvP slide, but for now, take a moment to look at this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the top 8 PvE skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PvE slide. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVE, from the highest percentage all the way down to the lowest. And Soaring Wave is your highest damaging skill. So taking a look at everything that she has, let's answer a general question, which is, why is there an area colored in green? We can only take 8 skills into the world at a time. So these are the top, or the 8 that I recommend for fighting creatures in the world. Now you don't have to use them, it's a recommendation, but if you wanted to try out skills, these would be the ones I would suggest, especially Soaring Wave, because it's the one when you really want to hit a creature hard, that's the skill you would use. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the top 8 PvP skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PvP slide. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized it according to the column of damage-PVP, and your highest skill for PvP is Soaring Wave, same as PvE. So taking a look, everyone who does PvP always wants to know the very first question: where is my skill that I can apply my super armor in Arena as well as anywhere else in the game? And you have 3 of those. You have Flying Wave, you have Riding Waves, and you also have Descending Tide. I highly recommend Flying Wave because that is the skill where she turns into a mermaid, dives into the ground, goes all the way towards the opponent, comes up, and does a knock up on hit, and you just can't go wrong. You're invincible while you're doing that. You have your super armor when you're done with it, and possibly you can get the immobilization on your opponent by knocking them up when it hits. So that is the recommendation. Everything that's in green, again, is the 8 skills we could take into the game world. So as always, I recommend to just play around with them all, see which ones you like. The other one is Riding Waves and Descending Tide for super armor, But if you're wondering why does it matter, everyone who does PvP does super armor so that they will not get immobilized. They won't get frozen, stunned, knocked up in the air, knocked down. That's why they do super armor, so they can stay in the fight without being knocked on the ground, where your opponent can get 2, maybe 3 hits more on you, and that's a deal breaker right there. You're done. You're out of the fight if they get you on the ground. So, looking at the passive, it looks like it could be very confusing. So I'm just gonna say it like this: when you hit your opponent, it chooses one person to plunder. I don't see any visual cues or effects on who that person is that's chosen to be plundered, but I do see that when I'm attacking, it gives a plus 40 AP or DP. It's just plus 40 above my CP level. So that is the only thing I got to go by. You know, there's just no visual cue to know that your passive is actually active, but reading it, I mean, it increases your AP and DP by 20 for 10 seconds, so that's probably the plus 40 I'm talking about. And the AP DP enhancement effects will apply separately. Increased damage to other adventures and decreased damage from other adventures effects plus 5%, and you get extra damage to monsters by plus 10%. So when your passive is active, you hit harder to monsters and you get more CP. So this is like a stacking. It's very nice, very great for her. But again, sorry, I can't tell you or show you when it's active. Just that if you see a plus 40 over her CP thing, then, well, okay. I think my passive is active. The other one is the plundered target. Again, I don't see any way you would know who is chosen. They should really enhance this more, you know, like aura or something over them being the plundered target. But until that time, their AP and DP enhancements won't be available to them for 10 seconds, decreases their CP by 40, and I don't understand the last part of it. It says increases damage to other adventures and decreases damage from other adventures' effects, so that kind of sounds like it's helping the plundered target. Yeah. So to sum up, her passive is a CP buff, and allows you to hit monsters when you're just farming out there a little bit harder and decrease the damage coming into you. So take a moment to look at this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the combo slide. Here we go. And welcome to the skill combo slide. So before we get into what you are looking at, allow me to tell you where you can find this so you can see it for yourself. If you're in the game and you tap on the menu and you go to the right where it says skills, you tap on skills and you're on the skills screen, and you look to the left and kind of center of the screen and go down, you'll see a little icon that looks like a magnifying glass. You would tap on that and here you are. It'll bring up a window, small window, that says list of skill combos. Now, the way that this works is this is a suggestion from Pearl Abyss on what you can try to get going on making combos when you're fighting creatures in the world or against other players in PvP setting. So the blue on the left is the skill you would start out with, and then to the right of it is chaining into the next skill. Now I must say, I must have, I missed this the last time I did Corsair and put a video together, because this wasn't something I was focusing on, and now that it is, I have to tell you that this is a oops. Pearl Abyss did a big oops, because first of all, let's go with the explaining this. If you look at the very top where it says Ferocious Wave, that is the name of a skill you can select and tap on. And then it's saying after you do Ferocious Wave, do Wave Slasher. And that is a skill you can tap on and activate. Now, if you look at the next one down, where it says Flying Wave, that is a skill as well. But it's asking you to chain it into an enhancement. That enhancement is not a physical skill you can select by itself. It is something you unlock, and it is part of another skill. And when you look at this, you're going to be like, but I don't know what skill that is. And I'm going to tell you. So what we're going to do is we'll take the Flying Wave that chains into flow of Tide Slasher and the Pirate Tricks. So those both connect into Tide Slasher. So I'm going to take a break from this and show you the screen where you know what skill that is and the enhancement and what you need to do. So just give me 1 second and we'll bring it up. Here we go. Okay, so this explanation is earlier than I wanted to. It's normally with Enhancement Slide that I explain all this, but it looks like if you're going to understand the skill combo slide, then you need to know this. So when you go into your skills and you go all the way down to Descending Tide and you tap on it, you'll see the 5 circles to the left of it. Those are enhancements. So 2 of them connect to your branch damage and 3 of them are enhancements you unlock. Now, if you look, you'll see at the very top the circle that has a red number 3, and then it looks like an hourglass and it says 0/1 in that window right there. Well, what that means is for that particular enhancement, you have to get to level 3. And everything else has no level requirement. So the good news is when Pearl Abyss is telling you to start out with a certain skill and then combo into the Tide Slasher, what they're saying is go here to Descending Tide, tap on the circle that looks like a sword with a circle around it. You see it. Tide Slasher, and then learn it. It's 90,000 silver to unlock it, and now that it's unlocked, you get 2 skills in one. The Descending Tide attack, because it's your skill, and Tide Slasher, that's part of it now. So what they're saying is to start out with that one skill, and then after that do Descending Tide, because you unlock Tide Slasher and it will now do what they intended it to do. So this is how this works, and let's go ahead and go back to the combo slide and we'll knock out what the other one means. Here we go. Alright, we are back on the skill combo slide. So now I can explain what this means. If you look at the second and third one down, Flying Wave and Pirate Tricks, what this means is when you do Flying Wave, then you want to chain into Descending Tide. And that's under the assumption that you did unlock Tide Slasher, the enhancement. So Flying Wave to Descending Tide, and Pirate Tricks to Descending Tide. That's what should be shown right there. I think they want you to make sure that the Tide Slasher is unlocked to really get in the combo that they're looking for. But it's a little tough to explain that if you're just staring at it going, I don't know where the skill Tide Slasher is. So now let's knock out the one at the bottom. So there's Tumultuous Wave to Wave Slasher, and then below that is another enhancement, Parting Waters to Flying Wave skill. Let's go ahead and cut to this slide that shows what the skill is, so you can unlock the enhancement Parting Waters. Here we go. Okay, and what you just saw was the skill combo that's recommending Parting Waters to the skill Flying Wave. But what they really mean is to go into the skill Riding Waves, top left corner. That's the name of the skill. And then you go to the enhancement, or it's a flow, called Parting Waters. It is the sword with the circle around it, and look at that, there's no level requirement. You can learn it. You need 30,000 silver, So once you learn it, then you can do exactly what they were wanting you to do, is to start out with the Riding Wave skill with the Parting Waters enhancement unlocked into the next skill. So this is what you need to do to understand the combos that they are suggesting for you. And over time, I encourage you to unlock all the enhancements so you have the benefit of what she can completely do. And then you can try out all the skills and see which ones you like and come up with your own combos. But let's go ahead and finish up on the combo screen and head right back to it. Here we go. And we are back to the skill combo slide, so let's go ahead and conclude what they mean. So the second and third skill, Flying Wave, you need to unlock the enhancement Tide Slasher, and that is with the skill Descending Tide. So it's Flying Wave to Descending Tide, and then Pirate Tricks to Descending Tide. And at the bottom, they want you to go into the skill of Riding Waves and unlock the enhancement Parting Waters. So once you do that, then it is the skill Riding Waves to Flying Wave. Once again, Riding Waves to Flying Wave, and you will achieve what they want you to try out and see why they're recommending it. So now that you've had a very good helping of the skill combos, we're going to move on to the next section, which is the enhancements. Here we go. And welcome to the enhancement slide. So like I said, once again, sorry about the big explanation for the combo slide screen, but it was important for you to understand what you were looking at and that it connects to this slide, the enhancement slide. So let me go ahead and introduce where you're at now. This on the far left are all of the skills for Corsair. On the far right is the branch damage connected to all these skills. And then the middle is 4 columns. The first, second, and fourth one are enhancements that I have that do something for your Corsair. The third column is things that happen to the creature or opponent you are fighting. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. So the example would probably be the third skill from the bottom, Soaring Wave. You notice how target move speed is minus 5% for 10 seconds and target DP minus 20 for 10 seconds. Those are both things that happen to the creature or person or opponent you are fighting when you use Soaring Wave. So those are happening to them, and nothing is happening to boost you or benefit you except that you are slowing them down and lowering their damage or their CP. So first things first, this is the enhancement slide. All the enhancements need to be unlocked to be used. This gives you an idea of what Corsair has for enhancements to unlock. So a few other things to explain is if you look at the third one from the bottom or top, Judgment of the Sea, and go all the way over to the right. You see where it says heal 55 HP per hit? The reason I colored heal that way is because it does not apply in Path of Glory. So she's not going to heal herself when you're in Path of Glory, but everywhere else in the game she will when you use that skill. But again, you have to unlock the enhancement. If it has a level connected to it, what that means is you just fight in the world of Elion, creatures or mobs, and they will drop skill books. Now it is random, but if you get Judgment of the Sea, say the level is 2 for unlocking heal, that would probably equate to maybe 3 skill books that you need for Judgment of the Sea, and then you will learn it, unlock that level and that enhancement, and then have access, and she will then from that moment on heal herself every time you use that skill. So that's how that works. And let's see, was there, Riding Waves. If you look at the first column, it's just a reminder that the Riding Waves has, as you know, the other skill, or the flow, and it has super armor as a component in that other skill. And of course, that super armor will not apply in arena. So when you look at it, you're like, super armor, I'll unlock it and I'll use that skill in arena and then I'll get my super armor. No, you will not. So take a moment to look at all of this, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the player card. Here we go. And welcome to the player card. This is like a baseball card. It is all of the slides that you previously saw, all combined on one screen. So if you are familiar with my character profile videos and you're interested in a particular character, you can fire up that video, go straight to the player card, take a look and see what she has. If you're really pressed for time, maybe print out this screen and then you can look at everything that she's got while you're doing your other stuff, and then come back and watch the entire video to know what Corsair has in detail. All the recommendations and all the things that make her great. So allow me to introduce what you are looking at. At the very top is the top 8 PvE and PvP skills that I recommended. To the right is something new. It's called Immobilization. You heard me talk about it previously in the previous slides. And what that means is if there is a skill that will stun, knock down, freeze, etc., anything to immobilize your creature or opponent you're fighting, it is listed here. Green means it has one. And then to the right of that is how many immobilizations do you have? And they did a good job with Corsair giving her 3 skills that has 2 immobilizations. That is Ferocious Wave, was that Whirling Waters? Wow, I really haven't said that one very much. Whirling Waters, cool. And Pirate Tricks. So why is that important? If you are fighting somebody in arena and you are trying to knock them down or immobilize them, then let's kind of look at the skills below it. Let's take Ferocious Wave. When you do that skill, you have a knockback on hit and a knockdown on last hit. Now, if they're doing super armor, the knockback and the knockdown is not going to happen. They'll just shrug it off and continue fighting. But if their super armor runs out, there's really no way for us to tell. And that just wouldn't be very sporting if there was. You just time it. Okay, they're out, and there you go. Now I'm going to knock them down. So it's a guessing game. But to put it in your favor, if I did Ferocious Wave and Whirling Waters and Pirate Tricks on my opponent back to back, you're doing 6 immobilizations, increasing the opportunity that one of those immobilizations is going to catch your opponent when their super armor runs out, and you will knock them down or get the drop on them and be able to get in more hits. That's why that section is important, so you know what skills will help you get there. So that's how that works. And you already know about the skills section, which is below, and you certainly know about the enhancement section, which is below that, the legend of what's not applied in Path of Glory or in Arena. And if you've been wondering what is forward guard and super armor, here are the definitions for you to know. Forward guard means incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Now, Ferocious Wave does have a forward guard, so I'm going to go into a little more detail about it. If I do Ferocious Wave, my Corsair needs to be facing my opponent. If my opponent is in front of me, to the right of me, like in front and to the right or to the left, and they're trying to damage me, the definition means that incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. So that's what makes forward guard special. But if they jump over me or get past me and damage me from behind, then all bets are off. Forward guard, just think of it like a concave shield. Maybe that might not work. Think of it as like a half shield in front of you, and if they get around you to the right or left and then behind you, you know that they'll be able to get you. And super armor, this means that incoming damage will be reduced, and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. And we don't know what that duration of time is, and it's not likely Pearl Abyss will let us know. They'll take the fun out of it all. As long as you have your super armor in the rotation of all the skills that you use, you're constantly refreshing it, knowing that you are protecting yourself. If you're new and you catch a player who doesn't know what super armor is, it will be very evident, because everything that has an immobilization for Corsair, you'll knock them down, knock them up, you'll knock them like a rag doll, and you'll be like, oh, this poor person. So take a moment to look at this. The music is gonna change. We're gonna go into the gameplay video next, where we show you what Corsair can do. Here we go. And welcome to the gameplay video. Before we get started, let's show you where we're at. We're over here in Balanos, and we're at Kron Castle entrance, and we're here because we love it here. Their CP is that low, and our CP is much higher. Not by much, but it is much higher. So we're gonna have some fun. The way this works is we will use this auto path and have Corsair fight for about 2-3 minutes, at which time we will go back to town. I will give my outro and say thank you. So, without further ado, I am pleased to give you the class Corsair. Here we go. Just about time for us to head back to town. Get in a few more hits. There we go. And here we are. So while the loading screen is coming up, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like my videos, please subscribe, like, let people know. I'm always making more videos. Really happy to do it and to make the game easy and fun for you. So what we do here is just swing the camera around and give Corsair a nice, presentation. So let's zoom in. There we go. And maybe a little more of the background. There we go. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and have her give a wave. And once again, thank you so much. You all have a great day. Take care. Bye now.